Hi everyone, welcome to Women.Tech. Today I'm very happy to welcome Geetanjali. Geetanjali began her journey by pursuing her bachelor's in Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering from the MATOSHRI College of Engineering. She later completed her postgraduate diploma management in finance from Sies College of Management Studies. She's currently working as a business analyst at Deloitte in India. Welcome, Geetanjali.
Hey, hi Manasa. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's always been a pleasure meeting with you, and I'm very impressed with the initiative you are taking with, and I cannot really wait to start the conversation ahead.
Okay. So Gitanjali, so my first question would be like, how did you decide to do a bachelor's in electronics, and what drove you to choose electronics and telecommunication as your bachelor studies?
Initially, I would say I didn't even plan to get into the engineering side. So, in my childhood, there's a short story behind this. So, I would like to reiterate for you. So, in my childhood, I had been to my grandmother's place. So there it was like a headquarter for all of our cousins, right? So there on some festival, so there was this serial lights thing, right? So it got damaged and it was thrown away in one of the parts, in one of the sidelines. So I picked it. I asked my parents whether I could further go and invest into my curiosity and see what is there inside that small box. So I got it. What I saw is there was just a wire which came up. So I thought maybe fixing it would be fine. So I grabbed a sellotape, I just fixed it and I just plugged in. So it, boom, it again it started lightning again. So my cousin, one of my cousin brothers was there. Just he said, ki, "Okay, you're going to become an engineer then." So that was the first time in my life when I heard the word engineering. That time I didn't even know what that word even meant. But then slowly and steadily, when it was I think eighth or ninth standard, this voltage current proportionality came, and when topics like these started, I understood such things are much easier for me to understand than my friends, than my schoolmates. So I thought maybe that's the right one to go ahead with. And later in 11th and 12th standard, I got firm if I would be proceeding with something else in my career, it would be engineering. But okay, it didn't stop with engineering. There are a lot of sub streams and branches, right? So initially, I was confused whether it was electronics or electricals for me. So the first year of engineering is common. I mean, you get to study all the branches of engineering and know it a bit better. So then we went to these tech fests. So these semiconductors thing and microcontrollers thing were the first time they introduced us. Then I got into understanding, okay, if it's something, then if it's that's electronics for me. And yeah, that's the story of how I landed with electronics and telecommunication engineering.
So, this semiconductor companies that you're talking about, you got a chance in in your high school to actually go to these companies, or
No, no, these were a part of Tech Fest in my first year of engineering. I haven't
okay,
seen a tech, yeah, semiconductor before that.
okay. So this was after you made a choice to pursue your bachelor studies. You got this opportunity to further love um, the bachelor's program
That's
that you
correct.
decided. Yeah. So,
That's correct.
how did the migration then happen from, to finance? And were there any, did you face any struggles trying to transition from, in engineering school to, a business school? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. There were struggles, but yeah, that's another part of the story over here. So, when we started growing up, I understood as a hobby, my father would just stare at the computer, and every day there were some figures in red or green color. My curiosity increased exponentially when rupees was added in front of that numbers. So once I asked him, so what's this? And he said, okay, that's a stock market thing. We earn money. Then for me, the conclusion was, okay, he's just staring at the screen. He's clicking some. few mouse buttons, and then he's earning a lot. He's earning good. Why don't I get into this? So at that point of time, I asked him, can you please teach me this? He said, as an 18 year old girl, I asked him, can you teach it for me? So he was like, no, no, it's not for you yet, but yeah, definitely some maybe in a year or two later. He was right at that point, because if a 17 or 18 year student understands stock market, okay, understanding and learning stock market is a different thing. That's a part of technical analysis and fundamental analysis. But if you get into it in a greed to earn money, then that's completely going for a toss with your career. So I understood that 2 3 years later, but yeah, I learned that. And then I understood, if I am going to pursue something after engineering, it would be in MBA management. It would be in the finance side, I would say. Later, when I dived deep into it, I understood it would be MBA in finance. So
Okay.
yes, that is how MBA happened. And when you say whether any struggles understanding that, again, in the first year of MBA, everything was common to us. So we studied marketing, we studied subjects related to HR, operations, systems, and finances. Even at that part too, finance topic was at such a peak, it would entice me and attract me. But it's not just about stock market, right? Finance is a huge, huge ocean, so you need
Mm-hmm.
to understand which part of the ocean are you going to streamline yourself to. So that was another challenge. So and on that perspective, I would say, consulting with your professors, asking them, or consulting with your seniors is, if it's a part, exploring yourself is another part. So you have to deep dive into yourself, you have to understand, you have to read things, you have to read the job descriptions maybe of the companies. And then I came into an understanding, I narrowed down my perspective. If it's that, then if it's A, B, or C, and if A, B, and C, then I would prioritize myself to it. Yes, that
But
was it.
in your final year of your bachelor studies, you would have had this discussion with your family about, should I actually continue pursuing, further engineering studies, or like, business school. So, did you have this confusion, or like you were sure based on your interest in finance that you wanted to continue in finance?
Oh, yes, I did remember I had a discussion with my family. So, but then even before the discussion, they knew what the outcome was, because they saw my hunger and curiosity being oriented towards the finance side. So they were like, okay, this Bandi would get into finance only, and that too she would select MBA itself. So yeah, they already knew about it. But then yes, I did announce it. I did declare it officially before getting into the path officially. Yeah.
Okay. So now, you can you describe your current role as a business analyst, and what does a day in your role look like?
Sure. So, I would say a business analyst is a person who helps solve business related problems, first of all. So, when I say business related problems, it could be anything from improving processes, products, understanding the sales perspective, and maybe improvising it further. It can be products or services, whatever. In depends on the field you are in. Again, it's like an agile support. So these people who are into business analysts, they are like an workforce of an agile people, bridging the gap between technology, that is the IT side, and the main prospect in the sense the service they are going to offer. So
Okay.
yes, so if you say how's a day in a business analyst, so I would say no day in a life of a business analyst is same. So every day we have a different task, every day we multitask, we connect with different people, we have a bucket list of different things every day. Yeah,
Okay.
that is
Um,
it.
so when you had finished your MBA, right? How did you
Mhm.
decide that, business analyst is something that you would like to do, and how did your MBA help you, get this role of business analyst?
Sure. So, see, in while we were studying MBA, our college made us um, groom in such a way we would multitask everything efficiently. So, with efficiently, I mean it should be attention to detail. It could be your qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis for that matter. So that made sure. So when the company started coming to our campuses, so when you summarize the JD, the job description, you would see. So these main perspectives would fit among each and every profile. So in
Mm-hmm.
that way, when a person completes his MBA, so the first profile the person gets offered is a business analyst profile.
Okay.
That's after an MBA. And if it's after engineering or bachelor's degree, it would be an associate profile.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
And
given, yeah.
were there any specific soft skills or technical skills that you think are needed for you to become a business analyst?
Oh, definitely. There are some checklists, by the way, for that. So, if you talk about the soft skills perspective, I would say communication skills, written skills are important for that matter. Interpersonal skills are the important. When I say communication skills, it's not about just interacting. It's also about listening, understanding, processing, and then taking it further. For example, I'm connecting with a client. He's saying something and I'm not able to understand what he's saying. Then what's the use of me putting it to the team further, right? So I'm the bridge between the client and the other, you can say, other team. So I have to understand his perspective of the problems. I have to process it. Then I have to maybe put things together, pull off some records for references, and then put it up ahead. This is the importance of hard soft skills. And there's one more thing I would say. So this is called facilitation skills. I'm not sure people know about it, but they give it with the least importance. Facilitation skills and organization skills. So like whenever I speak to a client, so I understand the problems, but am I jotting it down in the right process? Am I organizing it the right way? Am I prioritizing it the right way? So if I don't understand the priority list, how am I going to send it further so that the team who's going to work on it based on priority meet the deadlines? Isn't it that simple? If meeting deadlines is one part, efficiency and attention to detail is another part.
Very
So while
interesting.
multitasking, yes. So while multitasking, it might happen that you might miss on something. So you need to maintain everything, right? Being a business analyst is equal to a multitasker, but with efficiency and attention to detail. So yes, these skills also play a great role, I would say, apart from analysis and problem solving skills.
Very interesting. Yeah. So, how did any specific MBA courses that you think, helped you prepare better for this job? That would be interesting for our audience here.
If you are being very specific about a business analyst profile, I would say a business analyst is a person who has to be trained to pull off things, pull off records, understand the survey details, and put it in an organized format and send it further to the client or lead or whatever. So he should have handy tools, right? So these tools are nothing but he should be very agile with Microsoft Excel, the Microsoft suite, I would say. Then one can take help of Tableau
Mm-hmm.
and Google Analytics, and yeah, SQL right now is a must. And if you are into a core, I would say IT firm or something, if you're targeting core IT firms, it should be a person who is good in R programming and Python.
Okay.
Yeah, so these are
Thanks.
the prerequisite.
Okay, that's really helpful. And I'm sure like the people listening to us would also take notes of it. So you had explained about, how you moved from electronics to the business school and then from there to now business analyst. What was the major challenge in your entire journey that so far?
See, the challenges at every level are different. So when I turn back and see them, I feel them jokes. I feel as jokes. Who does? I mean, who doesn't have setbacks and failures and insulting moments in life, right? But the biggest challenge for me is some people in the society and it's depressing when you understand that when you share the same surnames with the people with. Yes.
Mhm.
So initially, I would say when I declared to some of my family members, ki, okay, I would be pursuing engineering, they were like, engineering for you. And when I became an engineer, they were like, wow, engineer. See, that's the change in emotions. So
Mhm.
that's the society perspective, you can say. That was one depressing thing, or whatever you can say. But yeah, you can overcome everything. I mean, uh, you know, distinguish right from wrong for yourself at that present moment of life is important, right?
Mhm.
Because you have not come this far only to come this far. You need to understand that. So uh, you shouldn't have that feeling of, okay, every day I have to find for motivation. There should be something inside you, or if you are aiming to something which instills in motivation every day, then that's the good track for you. For example, I didn't have to wake up motivating myself for every day.
Mhm.
That was not my thing. So I was motivated to get up, rather I would say that.
Um, so that's very nice that you take everyday challenges as your own and you try to overcome it by motivating yourself, which is a great perspective. So what you must have had instances in your journey where you felt really proud, or you have some achievements where you said to yourself that I feel great that I was able to do this. So were there any instances that you would like to share?
Oh, oh, sure, sure. I did have such instances when I could now remember. The first one is when I won the Student of the Year title back in my engineering college, where out of I think 3,000 odd people, I was selected as the one. So that was my proudest moment so far. And then it was just last year when I ran 25 kilometers on my 25th birthday. So I
Wow.
took 10 months of training before that to make this achievement, you can say. So yeah, that was the greatest. And for my future achievements, if you want to understand to that, so it's I joined my badminton training, so it has been rigorous, and very soon I'll be getting into tournaments and all.
Oh, that's
That's the
amazing.
update.
Okay. So you are a business analyst plus a sports person, in short.
I have to be.
So,
Being in a consulting firm, you cannot just sit at a place staring at your computer, right? So there has to be a physical activity for yourself, and for that you have to take initiative for yourself. So yes, that's the part for it.
and how long is, how stressful is the work of a business analyst in general?
Well, Manasa, I would say stress is a subjective thing. So, what's stressful for me is not as stressful for you. So, for example, I am blessed because I have been in working in a firm who provides me flexible working hours, and I have been blessed with a super duper team. So, I log in early, then I go to my badminton schedules, I come back, I do some work again, I take a nap, then I do some work again. So I complete the work. It's 9 to 10 hours in totality. That's fine, but the stress levels are there sometime when the deadlines are approaching. But yeah, that's manageable and fine.
Okay, that's great to know. And you also shared about how you unwind during your free time, which is badminton and marathon, right? So, are there
Yeah.
any other hobbies? I saw that I think you play some musical instrument as well, right? If
Oh
you'd
yes,
like
I do play flute. Yes, yes.
And how did that go about, like, playing instruments? And then, is that since your childhood that, you cultivated this, extracurricular plus curricular activities?
Oh no, not really. So I was super ashamed when I understood the all the cousins in my family picked up some musical instruments. For that matter, in even my mom plays veena. So we
Okay.
are left with nothing. So I thought, no, this is the right moment to pick something. Picking something is not the question, but then and understanding ki what interests you the most. So the very calming thing for me is listening to a flute music. So that's
Okay.
how I picked up flute. Yeah, I'm learning it. It's been I think 3 months now. I'm learning
Mm-hmm.
flute. Yeah.
That's great. So how have your, extracurricular activities actually helped you for your work in as a business analyst? That might be interesting. Yeah.
Oh, sure, sure. The very first thing I would say is it's a very great stress buster. Back in my college days, I didn't have many, most, I would say opportunities as a extracurricular because while when I was doing my MBA, I was in the hostel. So at that time, my stress buster was washing clothes, honestly.
Okay.
And
Okay.
now, when I'm having ample of time to manage both of these things, so I divert myself into physical activities like this. So your mental health is balanced, your physical fitness is maintained, and yes, your stress levels are also balanced. That is one. Apart from that, whenever you go for a presentation or you get into some social interactions, so this, what do you say, confidence picks up immediately.
Mm-hmm. That's
You start
nice.
showing up well. Yeah.
Great to
Yes,
know.
Manas.
So what are your current goals, and and what do you aim for yourself in the coming years?
So if you ask me this career wise, I would say my current goal is to enhance my skills more, to fit into, uh, to fit deeper into the shoes of a consultant. So
Mm-hmm.
because I'm into a consultant industry right now and explore my opportunities with more, more organizations. So my previous project was based on a health related firm, healthcare firm. This
Mm-hmm.
time maybe I would get into a BFSI sector or something else. That way I want to explore more to get the understanding perspective of the other industries as well. And apart from that, if you are asking me related to the extracurricular thing, I just want to get into the tournament. That's
Amazing.
it.
So,
Yeah.
how do you keep up with, the different industries that you talked about? Or do you have to do prior research about a specific industry? And, how do you keep up with the research and knowledge to take up these new projects?
Okay, sure. So, you remember I told you that I am quite equipped with technical and fundamental analysis when it comes to stock market. So the basis lies there. So when you are picking up some stock, you need to understand the company's perspective from the management or from the historical data or whatever the current affairs it's been producing. So when you get into such sort of news, you understand about the industry, its competitors, and the whole current affairs around it. So once you get into that, there's no I don't think it I think it's wrong to say that this way, but when you get into the core of it, right, you understand things better. So I don't have to take some time separately and sit to do research analyst on those stuff. Just
Okay.
watching news, you understand ki what's going on what and stuff. Business news, preferably, yes.
Okay, that's really useful for our audience. So, what has been Gitanjali's driving factor, and do you have any inspiration figure in your life? So, yeah.
Inspiration figure in my life, I would say that's my mom. She is and she will always be because she has a tremendous warrior force inside her. So yes, is and she will always be my source of inspiration. Apart from that, when you step out of the house, you get into different extracurricular activities, right? There at that particular juncture, you see different people at the best in their own thing. For
Mm-hmm.
example, when I go and play badminton, I see my coach playing badminton. So at that 1 or 2 hours of time, he becomes my role model. Oh, I have to play like this.
Very nice.
Yeah, that part. Yes.
So what has been so your driving factor is basically, just drawing inspiration from the people around you, and that actually inspires you to do better. But in your regular day-to-day work, what motivates you to, sit and give your best in the job that you're doing?
Your inner voice.
Okay.
My inner voice constantly says, okay, Gitanjali, you haven't just come this far to come this far. It's
Mm,
more for you. So you just don't have to sit here. Come on, give everything you have now so that it's going to take it ahead.
okay, that's
My inner
amazing.
voice, I would say, yes.
So, what would you like to say to women who want to, take up the same role as you, and who have a similar journey to you? Do you have any advice for them?
Oh, yes, sure. So I would say, start deciding things for yourself. I mean, before you go and ask things to your seniors or before you take perspectives for them, build a foundation for yourself. Okay, you're best at A, B, and C. You have to improve C and D. That is fine. If
Mm-hmm.
that's your weakest point at that point of, that's fine. But then you have to understand what are your strong points. You have to make a decision, and then maybe you have to put it together and discuss it so that they understand you pretty well, and then matlab based on that they can give their opinions. Else if you go and ask them for something, they'll become this tree of enlightenment and they'll start up vomiting everything, right? So that doesn't help anyone. First is that. Second thing is, try to become independent, as much independent as possible. This independence, sense of independence, comes in when you become confident about going and speaking in a crowd, confident about um, going and presenting yourself somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say focus on your health as well. Yeah, health is important.
Okay. That's yeah. Thanks, Gitanjali. And my final question is, how do you want to be recognized, like among the society that you said? How do you want to be recognized as? Yeah.
Well, when it comes to society, I would like myself to be recognized as an independent person, independent when it comes to thoughts and in the way of being. Yeah, because that's how people won't come forward and put up their opinions on you, so that you don't be you don't live your life to their expectations. You can decide
Mm-hmm.
for yourself, right, when you think you're that empowered. Yeah.
Amazing. So I think thank you so much, Gitanjali, and it was a really enlightening session. You shared about all your achievements and accomplishments and how you reached to the position of business analyst, and I'm sure our audience would really have gained a useful insight into it. So thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Manasa. Thank you so much for organizing such a session, and it's my pleasure to be in connecting
Okay.
with you. Yeah.